we've given it a go, so we're still learning. My name is Maria Riley. I'm Associate Director of Strategy and Improvement for the Trust. I'll be taking you through this, but the kind of main event will be the showcase on a number of improvements that different people have been working hard on, and we'll be presenting to you. We will be videoing this and placing it on the Trust intranet, so staff who weren't able to join us can have a look at it afterwards. So if you're not comfortable putting your camera on, please feel free to kind of leave that off and just chat. If we could all try to stay on mute if we're not speaking, that will help with the volume, but please feel free to put a hand up at any time, and I'll try and find you and bring you in to raise a question. So Victoria, I can't see the screen at the minute. Have you got the slide set?
The agenda's on the screen at the moment. Can everybody see that?
No.
No, Victoria, I don't think I...
No, Victoria.
I can.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can. Perfect. Thank you. So there we go. So we're going to go through Spotlight on pre-assessment pathway improvement with Tony Rouse, procurement update from Katrina, and patient hub from the fabulous Amy Rowland. And then we'll bring Stacey Burton in, our improvement facilitator, on the work that she's been progressing on secondment within the team, a bit of an update from me on the education, and then we'll close with sharing and celebrating some of our success over the last month. So if I bring in Tony Rouse, who's the service improvement lead in the surgical division, to tell us all about pre-assessment improvement.
Okay, gang, thank you. So basically, why did pre-assessment need to change? Why does it need to change? Well, I've been working on this, I think now for about 5 years, but we've finally now got a transformation programme. But if I run through some of the current issues. So basically, historically, the consultant surgeons have always attended pre-assessment, and really it's being used as a follow-up or a consenting appointment, whereas pre-assessment's purpose is to check the patient's fit for surgery. So I'll come to the slides, but you'll see we're going to considerably change the way we do things. So currently we can't offer a telephone assessment to some specialties because the surgeon's going to be coming down. We've got to fit the patients into that 1 hour in the surgeon's job plan. So the patient spends about 40% of their time sitting around waiting. Like I say, groups of patients are all given the same appointment. So it's very difficult for us to manage. Historically, patients don't get a pre-assessment appointment without a TCI date, and therefore suddenly they get a TCI date a week away. We have to cram them into pre-assessment and then find they're not fit. Okay, so, and I'll show you the next slide. There's massive amount of variation depending on what specialty they've done, getting an anaesthetic opinion. In fact, I came up with about 37 variations in pathways. Okay, and if a patient needs further tests, we sometimes, like I've just said, we don't have time to get them completed ahead of a TCI date. And if an anaesthetic review is required, the current, well, we have slightly changed it. The previous system, the notes go through to the anaesthetic office, then they get lost because the patient needs to come to clinic, and then the patient comes in and gets cancelled on the day. And a big issue for us for pre-assessment, unlike nationally, we've no dedicated anaesthetic time in pre-assessment. Victoria? And this is just showing you where we mapped out, we did an awful lot of work on what currently is happening. It's probably too small for you to read in detail, but the red issues showing you the issues and variations that we've got on the system. Thank you. Okay, so what are our future plans? So we're not messing now, we're not playing Mr. Nice Guy. We have politely asked the surgeons to stop attending pre-assessment clinic and basically think of other ways if they need to see their patients. Now, we know that 50% of the surgeons currently consent the patient at the point of listing, and the surgeons have all been very agreeable and we're looking at alternatives for them. We want anaesthetic time in pre-assessment, and we've just completed a business case, and that has been approved, as also is an electronic triaging system at the point of listing the patient. So the patient sees the surgeon, that I'm going to operate on you. We don't need a TCI date because we are going to be the people who say you can proceed with surgery. So we've turned the patient green, they're good to go. Amber, they'll be okay, but we need to do some more tests. Red, no, we're not going to carry on. We've got things to do. And as I say, we've got the funding for an electronic system. So the patient comes round, does a questionnaire. It gives us an ASA grade. It tells us what tests we need to do. And it also, run off from me, but we also want to offer choices in appointments, telephone, face-to-face or virtual. And we want to review all the appointment systems, and we want all the tests to be on one day. So I think this slide again summarises the benefits of that. Our hope is we will reduce on-day cancellations, we will reduce cancellations at short notice. Pre-assessing without a TCI date means that we will have patients ready. So like in the current climate, if somebody says like in 4 weeks' time we can have 2 more extra elective lists, we've already begun to pre-assess patients without TCI dates. The pre-assessment is valid for 6 months, but at 3 months we will phone them and check if there's any changes. Okay. So what have we done so far? As I say, this is a lovely, beautiful transformation project now with its own task and finish group. We've actually appointed a matron just for the pre-assessment department. We've done the business case to secure a digital triage system, and we are currently job planning actual anaesthetic time in pre-assessment. So we are going to be the gatekeepers. We say that the patient can proceed to surgery. The consultant surgeons have left the building. They no longer come to pre-assessment. And as a result of that, and as a result of the nurses thinking differently, they got together and they've created 2 teams of nurses in pre-assessment with 2 shift times. And just by doing that, we've got 30 slots more a week because we don't have to work around consultants, and also the girls have altered their working day. And we've also begun Attend Anywhere for the anaesthetists in pre-assessment. So they have already started doing virtual appointments, and we're going to roll that out to the whole of the department. And so work in progress is task and finish group. We're reviewing the terms and conditions for the new digital solution. So we've got the detail we want, but we're going through it with a fine-tooth comb because it's a lot of money. We're going to triage the patients as soon as they've been told they need an operation. And the aim of that is we can bring them back, but we can bring them back and they can have all their tests done on one day, or we can do the test that day and we can telephone assess them. We'll be able to know that day what sort of assessment the patient needs. And they can actually go home and do the digital on their computers. We've just decided what we want to do. We've already begun pre-assessing patients without a TCI date. So we've got a group of patients already. And as I said, we want to establish Attend Anywhere for all pre-assessments. So we can offer face-to-face, telephone or virtual. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Fabulous, thanks Tony. I can't underestimate how brilliant it is that we finally made some progress on the pre-assessment, because you have been working on it for a really long time.
Yeah.
So TCI date, there's a question about that. So that's a patient having a date for surgery. So what we've historically done is pre-assess when a patient has a surgery date. What that means, if they then fail pre-assessment, that we've then got a slot within a surgical list that's unfilled. So for those of you who've already been in our improvement training of any form, you'll appreciate that what we're trying to build all the time is kind of appropriately sized queues of patients that that can slot in. So having a cohort of pre-assessed patients means that if there's a cancellation or if there's someone's unfit, we've got a pre-assessed patient ready to kind of slot in there, and it improves our list utilisation hugely. Are there any questions for Tony? At all? Do you want to come in?
Thank you very much, Maria, and great stuff, Tony. Well done.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get an idea. You mentioned resources at a couple of points in your presentation. Could you give me a better flavour of, is this all going to cost more? What the kind of long-term savings are and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we've been working on this a long time, and we've done what we could do within the resources we've got. So we did reach a point of writing a business case. So, for example, the My Pre-Op is approximately £50,000 a year. And so there is a cost, there is an investment. However, what we're offsetting is, first of all, the consultants don't need the 1 hour in the pre-assessment that's in the job plan. We're going to, I know that I'm confident we will reduce on-day cancellations. We will reduce short notice cancellations. From a quality point of view, we will have pre-prepared fitter patients for surgery. And we're going to basically offer a much more efficient service.
So I think this is one where we'll continue to measure, won't we, Tony, and demonstrate so we've made some assumptions about what we think are the benefits, but it's really important that we go on to keep measuring, and I believe that the benefits on this one will actually be even greater than we've currently estimated because of that list utilisation and productivity improvement it's going to give us in theatres. Luke, did you want to come in?
Yes. Can you hear me? Just to check.
You're quite faint.
I'm faint. Maria, can you anyone else hear?
It's ever so faint, Luke, so just shout up a bit.
Okay, I'll try to shout. Sorry about that. So again, my first suggestion was going to be, can we get all this put into an SBC chart, so various SBC charts, because that will be fab. Just to kind of track the changes over time. So that's brilliant. But the other question, I guess, was going to be around, have patients been built into this? So the views of patients, and are we checking what they think about the new system?
No, I don't suppose we have, actually. We've not done anything formal to get a view on the new system. So this is probably, once we've got the My Pre-Op in, I think we're going to need to do some formal feedback. Now, we've got some patient experience data from the old system, and actually it's not that bad, but the observation work we did, and if you will speak to Richard, we've got a lot of pre-change data about the weights the patient have and all that, but I think the timing is about, I might raise it at the task and finish group, of having something ready to get some evaluation. Certainly we need to evaluate the My Pre-Op and the service. We did do a pilot on the telephone clinics, because we still carried on telephone in some specialties, the ones where the consultants don't attend pre-assessment. The pilot on the telephone assessment was absolutely brilliant. No childcare costs, no parking costs, etc., etc. And I think, I'm confident the feedback will be good, that if we can have imagine getting your TCI data a week before surgery, you've been in pain, you want a hip replacement, and we're going to say to you, we can't do it because you're not fit enough. Whereas now, we'll have them pre-assessed, and things like if they need an iron infusion, we can get that done in a timely manner. So, yeah, it's a very good point, Luke. We do need to get some formal feedback when we get these other things in place.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you, Tony.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony. As you say, I think we've got elements of patient feedback, haven't we? We've got really strong feedback around the telephone consultations and around attend anywhere and those kind of things. So it's just bringing it together with the specific changes around the pre-assessment pathway that we need to do. Jane, did you want to come in?
Yes, thank you. Tony, sounds like a brilliant piece of work. Well done, first of all.
Thank you.
Can I just ask how we've arrived at the My Pre-Op? Is that the digital solution?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that. I can't
help but have a procurement head on.
No, it's all above board. We went through Stephen, and Angelina is our link. And what what they did was, I've forgotten what it's called, Jane. It's the system, Cloud something.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the iCloud the framework agreement, yeah.
Yeah, so they went on the framework agreement, and it's quite good actually that I haven't got to do a great big tendering exercise, because the My Pre-op was the only one who fulfilled all our requirements.
Brilliant. Yeah,
So,
it was just, I wouldn't want that
yeah.
to hold it up if you've got so far down the line with it. So that's great. Thank you.
And I think that's why I've been so thorough. Angelina's gone through with the terms and conditions with the fine-tooth and has come up with a list of questions, which we're firing back this week, because we don't want hidden costs. We don't want to find out we've got to have extra licenses, etc. So we want all that sorted in advance. It's worth waiting for. I've waited this long.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you so much. Thank you for your efforts with this. We'd love to see it come back at an appropriate point to see the benefits that are actually coming out of it. So we'll schedule you back in to have a look at the measures that are coming out in a few months' time. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, Tony. So Katrina, you're going to tell us around procurement improvement.
I am, yes. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to talk to you about some of the developments that we're making in Unit 4, which is the interface between yourselves and procurement to be able to buy all of your products. Over the last 6 months or so, we've been working with Senior Systems Officer Dan Owen, who's based in finance, and we've been trialling and implementing a new Unit 4 module. It's aiming to improve traceability of all the new product forms and the different requisitions that we get asked for in procurement. Thank you. At the moment, we're trialling new product requests. We've actually got this rolled out now to 80 users across the trust, so it's actually moved on a little bit from when we prepared this slide. We've got 8 people registered and using this. So rather than going onto our intranet and completing a manual Excel form and sending it down into our inbox, users are able to use the normal Unit 4 dashboard to request new products. So obviously in front of you is a bit of a snapshot of what that looks like. And it just enables you to put all the information that you would have put on a new product form and submit that to us. Now, that's not really much different to what you do at the moment. You still have to fill it in and you still have to submit that. The magic kind of happens when it arrives with us instead. So the reason we went down this route is we currently had to manually print off those documents, get them signed in by the various buyers, by technical engineering, sometimes by IT, by infection control, and all that has to be manually done. So we have to walk them around the building and get things signed off in order to get a new product set up. What happens with this, it arrives on a dashboard and the team can approve it and review it and send it on its way to the various different people around the trust to get their approval rather than printing it off. As you can imagine, that's going to save some trees for us, which is really good. It's also going to free up a lot of our procurement admin support function time in order to be able to focus on other things like chasing deliveries in for you to make sure you get them in at the end. So this slide obviously says when we're ready to share the exciting module, but we've actually, again, as I say, moved on a little bit from this. So we've currently got on the WO client the new product forms. That's due to be rolled out onto both FT and charitable funds as well in the next couple of months. And we are now currently working on single tender waivers. So at the moment, again, single tender waivers have to be manually signed, and what we discovered was an additional need due to COVID pressures is our auditors require a wet signature or an auditable signature on single tender waivers, and lots of people were working from home, so we weren't able to get that signature. So we've moved on to single tender waivers next. What Forms module allows us to do is to get a replica of that that signature from wherever people are working from. So that will actually really help. So we're at the moment trialling this internally in procurement. And once we've finished our trials, we will again start to roll that out across the trust. Initially, again, it will just be available on the WO client, but we will also be rolling that out to the other 2 clients as well. And then after that, we plan to put our purchasing card requests on, because that's our next biggest request that we get into our admin team. And hopefully then we'll follow on with new supplier requests, yellow badge requests, and hopefully a help desk, as well as anything else that we can manage to come up with. I think in the office we've got a list of about 20 different processes that we carry out for the trust, that are all done in a very manual way, and we're just trying to automate some of those systems to make it easier for you. Okay, thank you. That's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Katrina. Brilliant news. I'm often on the receiving end of a lot of these pieces of paper, and we're all for paper free. So to hear the progress and the plans to further improve are just fabulous. Any questions for Katrina? Jane, you've got your hands up, but was that from before, or did you want to come in? Jane, did you want to come in?
Sorry, Maria. No, that's fine, thank you. It was left up from last time from Tony's presentation. Apologies.
No problem. Any more questions for Katrina? At all, did you want to come in?
Not a question, Maria, but again, it was really, really great to hear how, I mean, I'm sure a lot of work has gone into this, but some simple changes can make a huge difference in the way we work. So really great. Thank you. Thank you, Katrina.
Thank you. I have to take my hat off to Dan, really, and unfortunately COVID for being responsible for this development. Because he was working from home, he had some thinking time and able to update his skills. So we found a new module that we were not previously aware of to help us develop this. So it's been absolutely fantastic. And actually without Dan, we wouldn't have been able to pull this off. So thank you to Dan as well.
That's great. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Katrina. And yet another thing that we can add to the list as positive outcomes from COVID then,
Absolutely.
Which is great. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'd love you to come back and tell us as you get further down the journey with some of those other improvements as well. Thanks, Katrina.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to a project very close to my heart. Amy, would you like to tell us about Patient Hub progress?
Thank you, Maria. I'm just checking everyone can hear me okay?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah. Okay, so good afternoon. My name's Amy Rowland, for those who don't know me. I've been at the Trust now for just under 8 years, based in IT projects. So my role at the minute is an application deployment specialist, and today I want to talk to you about Patient Hub. So hopefully Patient Hub won't be brand new to all of you, and you'll have seen these posters dotted around the Trust. So we've got these in the corridors and in patient receptions. And you might have also seen the roller banners in the main entrance and the visitors entrance. Thank you. Next one, please, Vicky. Oh, yeah. Oh, go back one. I think we've just skipped a slide there, Vicky. Yeah, that's it. So what is Patient Hub? So Patient Hub is a secure online patient portal providing one place to access all appointment information. So you can do this using your smartphone, tablet or computer. So once we have fully rolled out the platform, patients will have the ability to manage their appointments online, so rebook and cancel. It also offers an appointment reminder service, which will help with the ongoing challenge we have with DNA rates, and just add towards that patient experience. So eliminating the need to be sat in lengthy call queues, worrying about misplacing your appointment letters, or issues with postal services, so losing your letters in the post or arriving after your appointment. So the idea behind this, so the main idea was to improve patient experience as well as the utilisation rates for the trust. So it will give patients 24/7 access to their appointment information. We've got significant financial savings from the postal services. So once this is fully rolled out, it should cut our postage bills in half. And we've also got the environmental savings there as well, with the reduction in printed letters. And currently the majority of patient appointment information is sent via post. So not only is this a massive revenue, it also struggles to deliver a modern or fast method of engagement with the patient. Okay, so the patient journey, there's quite a few slides here, so I'll just skim over these because I'm cautious about time, but it will give you an idea of what the platform is like from a patient perspective. So here on the left, we've got an example of a new appointment notification. So that's via text message, and that's got the hyperlink in there to the Patient Hub platform. So once you've clicked on that hyperlink, you'll be taken to the patient login page, where you are asked for your mobile phone number or your email address and your date of birth. So once you've entered them, you'll be sent a one-time use authentication code. You'll be sent this via text message, but if we haven't got your mobile phone number stored in our PAS, you'll be sent it to your email. And then once you've entered that, you'll be securely logged into the platform. So that will present you with your landing page. So you've got your appointments, profile and logout. So when you go into your profile page, you can amend your contact details, so your mobile number and your email address and your contact preferences. And then you've got your appointments page, which will bring you all your upcoming appointments and show you what appointment type they are as well. And this is just a little more context around what each of the different appointment types looks like when you go into them. So the rollout plan. So I'll just give you a brief overview of our journey so far. So the project was initially stood down back in March due to coronavirus. So after many revised plans, we then went live with our phase 1 back in June. So this was our pilot phase, where we took on our first 4 specialties, so cardiology, urology, head and neck and breast. At this point as well, we also went live with limited functionality. This way it was less risk associated with it, and also meant we could have a fast track implementation in response to COVID. As you can see as well, that we took a staggered rollout approach. So this meant that we could allow any lessons learned or constructive feedback from each phase to allow the mitigations to be put in place in advance of the next phase. So it meant we're in a much stronger position. So for phase 2, we took on, all remaining specialties on Medway, but for new appointments only. So we're still in phase 2, fast approaching phase 3, which is due to go live on the 23rd of November for follow-ups and mixed clinics. And then we've got phase 4, which is in the new year, but I will touch a little on that later on. Okay, so I recognise that the main factor of this project being a success would be the marketing. So a few examples of what we have done to try and help raise awareness is stuff like we have an article in the Derbyshire Times with a patient story in there to get that patient touch. We've utilised our social media platform, so Twitter and Facebook. We've also got leaflets and posters around the trust. We've written to all our local GPs via the GP Comms newsletter, and we went live on air on the Greatest Hits Radio from the 3rd of November through to New Year. So most of you will probably know that as Peak FM. So our response to COVID. As we went live with our pilot at the peak of COVID back in March, there was a few changes that we had to put into place. So the first thing that we did was we amended the text message notification in line with the increase of non-face-to-face appointments. So some feedback we got from phase 1 was that patients were misinterpreting their text message and in fact turning up on site for what should have been a telephone consultation. So obviously that's not what we want during this current climate. So we amended the wording, as you can see on the current example on the right. So we added in the bold text, your appointment may be either in person, by phone or on video, which will encourage them to have a look at what appointment type they have. Thank you. So similarly to that, we also amended the user interface on the Patient Hub platform. So this will clearly state the appointment method, as you can see highlighted in yellow. So this actually took a fair bit of work because Patient Hub pulls all its data from Medway. So this meant we had to add some additional appointment types into the Medway booking screen. So previously we only had new and follow-up. We had to add in new face-to-face, new video, and new telephone, and equivalent for follow-ups. So this meant that took a lot of work to be put into Medway, then some testing around that, and then with help from our integration team and the supplier integration team, this would pass through the HL7 message and be reflected onto the Patient Hub platform. Thank you. And the final improvement is the seamless integration between the Patient Hub platform and the platform we use for virtual clinics in the Trust, Attend Anywhere. So obviously, because of COVID, the demand for video consultations has gone sky high. So to try and improve the experience for the patient, we have created the button that will direct the patient straight through to their virtual waiting area to make it a smoother process. So stats since go live. So the one stat that I want to talk to you today about is the measure of success. So this is the appointment response rate. So I'll just run through the graph with you. So you've got your blue line there, which is your total appointments notified, your orange line, which is your total appointment responses, and your green line, which is the appointment response rate average. So if we illustrate this, taking the last line on the graph on the right, so the week commencing the 26th of October, you can see that you've got just under 450 total appointments notified and just over 300 total appointment responses. So this gives us an average of 66% for the appointment response rate, which is a brilliant response rate so far. As in the business case, it was actually expected that the uptake would be around 20%. So since phase 1, we have stabilised at 60% for the appointment response rate, and phase 2, we are now comfortably at 66, which is great. So the next steps, so phase 3 we've got at the end of the month, so the 23rd of November. So this will see all follow-up clinics and mixed clinics. We are also going to take on the interaction type enabled notification. So I mentioned earlier the bespoke message that we've currently got live. This will be replaced with the interaction type notification. And then we've got phase 4 in the new year, which will bring in the additional functionality, so where patients can rebook and cancel their appointments. And we'll also be looking at other PAS systems used within the Trust. Thank you. That's it from me. Thank you for listening. Has anybody got any questions?
Thanks, Amy, and thank you for all your hard work and getting this to the position that it's currently at. It's been a brilliant project, fabulous enabler for our virtual consultations programme. But I think most importantly, what you see with the response rate is that it's what our patients want and what they need from us. We've kind of struggled, weren't we? We were thinking, how would our patients respond? And that's why we've only got a 20% kind of take-up rate in the business case, because we thought that would be a challenge. But the outcomes there tell us that our patients absolutely want this and are ready to use it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions for Amy? Luke, did you want to come in?
Hello, yes, I will. And I'm hoping my microphone's better this time.
It is.
Fantastic. Sorry, I don't know what was going on, but I think I fixed it. So it's not really questions, but it's just a couple of thoughts really that have come into my mind. So the first thought was a lot of the staff who use System 1 as a platform.
Yes. Yeah. So System 1 will actually be exploring in phase 4, because therapies will actually be a great area to go live on this, because they're mostly outpatient appointments as well. So that will
definitely.
they will really benefit from the system once we've got it up and running.
So I think that's fantastic. And when I've told the therapist, they were loving that they will now hopefully have access to this as well. So that's brilliant. And then another thought, which I guess comes back to what Maria's just said, that our patients are now ready for this. And it's around, when you look at the logging into it and you get the authentication, the codes and stuff like that. Originally, I thought, is this a bit kind of clunky for some of the patients? But actually, it's such a slick process, and it's what kind of companies like Apple use. So it works so well and seamlessly that it's brilliant. So well done.
Brilliant. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. Any more questions for Amy? Atul, did you want to come in?
Thanks, Maria. Again, great stuff, Amy. I mean, that's really, really nice to see. I mean, it'll make a great difference, I think, both for us and for patients. I just wanted to know a little bit more about the video and the telephone side of things when people do have the appointment. Is that interface working well? I think you mentioned something like Attend Anywhere. Is that the platform that's used? Yes,
yeah. So we've recently, we've been using it in the trust now for over a year, but obviously because of COVID, it's gone live across further areas within the trust. But it is actually going really well to date. So it's been a success. Yeah, it's been good.
Okay, great. And then there's last question. Really, there are some people who obviously won't get on with all the technology. And how can we help them? What's the thought about that?
Okay, so we have got to bear in mind that this service won't be ideal for everybody. So there is the option to opt out. So not all patients will have smartphones. So maybe like the elderly generation might not have a smartphone or might not be wanting to use this platform. So in that case, they just stick to posted letters like we've got currently.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thanks, Amy. Thank you so much for the update, and we look forward to hearing from you again in the new year once we get into phase 4 on hopefully the further improvements that we can see. So thank you so much for presenting.
No problem. Thank you.
So we're going to move on. So Stacey Burton, for those of you who don't know her, is our improvement facilitator, seconded into the Royal Academy of Improvement, formerly the matron on Ashover Ward. Stacey, are you going to talk to us about the work you've been doing?
I am. Hello, everybody. So this month I've decided to have a focus on pharmacy quick wins. Pharmacy, I've been working extremely hard and engaging with quite a lot of staff about issues. So the pharmacy journey has truly begun. So there was an audit that identified an issue with around medications on the ward areas. And they were very proactive and identified a lead, Lisa Ruddle. And Lisa has done pretty much all of this work herself. I've just sort of been the middleman, very much working in partnership with the wards and talking with the ward matrons. And a lot of quick wins have been identified for pharmacy to help support the wards in overcoming the issue what was identified at the audits. So there's 3 quick wins that are coming surrounding the CD audit. And actually, me and Lisa will be out and about on the ward on the 18th of November delivering them. So one of the things that we found was that the liquid CDs weren't being measured quite as effectively as they could. And the first quick win idea was actually let's provide better measuring cylinders for wards. So they've been sourced by pharmacy and are now arrived on site ready for us to take out. The second was when the nurses on the wards were sort of checking the medications, it was occasionally a little bit hit and miss. So we found, sourced and obtained a stamp for them because we recognise that how fast paced it's working. So literally it saves them physically writing checked and correct. They can now do that with a stamp and then double check sign. And then Lisa came up with a controlled drugs sort of an aid memoir that we're going to display in all of the drugs rooms that the nurses attend, and just really reminding them and reiterating what they pretty much already do now about what they should and shouldn't be doing when checking CD drugs and returning. Next slide, Victoria. So, and I cannot take any credit for this whatsoever. This is all Lisa's work, but I think it's amazing. So they've come up with a page on the intranet that the wards can actually get the medications in the CD, but in the CD cupboard destroyed. So what we'd previously not got was in some cupboards when patients bring their own CD drugs, they may have previously gone home and we'd not got round, and so the drugs could sit unused in the cupboards for quite some time. So Lisa sort of got an intranet page organised, and it actually now provides a audit trail. It helps the pharmacy technicians prioritise their time and makes them aware of what drugs need destroying. It also reduces the risk of the drugs aren't hanging about when they're not needed. And so obviously they're destroyed when they're no longer required. So again, this is brilliant. So what next? So again, Lisa has, and myself, Martin, have identified that there is the knowledge gap with a lot of CD drugs, and the pharmacy department are working with the clinical educators and clinical educating team sort of to help close that knowledge gap. There's going to be a re-audit planned, not sure of the dates yet, and there's many more projects in the pipeline for pharmacy. So pharmacy have done a really, really good job. They have. So, and that's me. So any other improvement ideas or anything, you know, don't hesitate to get in touch and we can see if we can help facilitate. Oh yeah, and this is a QR code. So there's been some posters that we've been popping around and about the trust with this QR. It isn't track and trace. So if you manage to scan it, it will take you straight through to the Royal Academy of Improvement suggestion page. And it's just another way that you can get your suggestions, bring them forward so we can help support you through making any improvement or change. And then we've also got the Academy newsletter that will be out shortly for November, and that's packed full of information about what's happening around the trust. And again, if anybody's got anything that they'd like putting on there or sharing, please get in touch with us and we can come and have a talk to you and hopefully get that information out. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacey. Stacey's only kind of given a brief update on just one of her work streams then, but she's out and about across the trust constantly supporting staff all over the place to bring their improvement ideas to life. Stacey, do you want to just update on the ACE boards as well? Because that's quite a good improvement, isn't it? That'll make a positive change.
So the ACE boards are all to do with the assessments that take place in the at the moment it's in ward areas, and it's a board of that showcases all of the audit results and the improvement journey. So that's been ongoing for quite a while now. We've just sent back for the second for it just to be modified a little bit further, and then hopefully I'll be taking, well, not the sample board, but the sort of picture of a display out to get some patient feedback to make sure that they feel that it's user friendly and that it's okay before we actually get them printed and put up onto the and then eventually outpatient areas.
Fabulous. Thank you, Stacey. Any questions for Stacey? Jane, you've got your hand up. Did you want to come in?
Yes, thank you. Again, brilliant quick wins, and it's really positive stuff to hear about, so well done. Just a couple of things that have raised questions. The QR code, is that just available for staff or for patients and visitors, for anyone?
I mean, anybody can contact sort of through the QR code, and we can signpost to wherever. So yeah, it takes you straight to the internet page, so it would be available for everybody. Okay, brilliant. And I'm just wondering, Maria, probably a question more for you in terms of patient engagement in improvement projects and programs. Sherwood Forest have recently introduced improvement partners from members of the public. I just wondered if we did something similar, or if we thought about that as a development.
Yeah, we definitely have done it, and pre-COVID we were making really good progress. So we had patient partners sitting on some of our improvement project boards. We've got an improvement partner really closely linked into our cancer improvement team. So pre-COVID we were making really good progress, and we had a really good plan. Our plan was to also bring some patients into the CUSA training programme. So we've kind of stalled a little bit, but it's absolutely our focus for the future. And as Stacey's just said, anything that we're trying to do as part of her improvement work, we're absolutely consulting with our patients. But I do think you're right, we can put more structure in that as we originally had kind of pre-COVID. The challenge around some of that is kind of constantly engaging patients in the new virtual world. You know, some of our patients who were partners on previous boards have felt a little bit uncomfortable about our new world in MS Teams meetings and things like that. So I think we've got a lot of work to do, but that's definitely our ambition going forwards.
Certainly, I'm certainly on the project working with the deaf community, and we meet up really regularly with Robin is a deaf person who does BSL sign language, and he really inputs and engages into all of the deaf work that we're doing at the moment.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks, Stacey. And if you go anywhere across the trust, Stacey's been on a massive poster campaign, so you will see the posters and the QR codes everywhere. So we would love to hear from you if you have an improvement idea. Thank you, Stacey. Stacey will update every month on the latest things that she's been working on, and it's all about the quick wins, just make it happen in kind of the LIA kind of style of permission free. So just a bit of an update from me on our improvement education programme. So everything improvement education was delivered face to face, and we were unfortunately required to pause it at the start of COVID. We're really pleased to say that we're back on track with our improvement training programme. We had a number of cohorts of staff who were paused in their CUSA training programme. We restarted those last week. We have got to make some changes around our CUSA delivery. We can unfortunately have a much smaller number of people in the room, but we're back on track. We're back delivering our CUSA improvement programme, and we've got cohorts established for next year. So if that's something that you'd like more information about, you'd like to talk to somebody who's been through the CUSA programme, it's a 6-day formally accredited with CPD points improvement programme. So please get in touch if you want to know more. One of the things we launched earlier in the year as well was our one-day introduction to improvement workshop. So this one received really great feedback, but we've taken the opportunity, and Stacey's been heavily involved in the refresh of this programme as well. So Going forwards, it will be a much more virtual programme. We're going to provide the support to it in a slightly different way, so that someone comes into the programme and then gets really supported through their first steps of their improvement project over the next coming weeks, and then hopefully gets to come back here and talk about their improvement success. So we've got dates in the diary for the rest of 2020. Oh, sorry, we did Victoria. That was saying we've only got very limited, one space left next week. But going forwards, we've got dates in the calendar next year. So please get in touch if you or a member of your team would like to get signed up to that programme. So just a little bit in terms of sharing and celebrating our success. So this is something historically we've not done very well as a trust. So we brought this into the improvement forum every month. This also gets reported into the hospital leadership team and into the Finance and Performance Committee every month. So it's sharing the small successes that can often kind of be invisible and people don't really see. So our SAU, Surgical Assessment Unit, achieved a silver rating in their first ever ACE assessment this month, which is brilliant. Hopefully you've kind of seen the Flu Express out and about. We've always historically done very well in terms of staff flu vaccination. Need to improve, and the team always come up with some new innovative way of encouraging people to get their flu jabs. So the most exciting one in the last couple of weeks has been the idea from Dr. David Sandler. He's one of our ex-QC graduates and a fabulous consultant here at the hospital. So he came up with the "And I Look Like This" name. So it's a name badge. Hopefully you've already seen it in the staff briefings or on Twitter. So it's showing what a patient, what a clinician looks like behind the mask. There is a template on the intranet that you can use to do your own name badge. It's kind of taken off hugely in terms of Twitter and got lots of national recognition. Just a fabulous idea, which David kind of had and then was brought to life with support from Sarah Ward, our Deputy Chief Nurse, and with from Sarah Turner-Saint, our Head of Communications. Next slide, please, Victoria. So just a couple more things. So in conjunction with Westfield Health and our charity, we've launched a new staff wellbeing programme, an app-based programme which staff can access. We had a virtual conference to celebrate National AHP Day, taking on all things virtual, things that we would have ordinarily kind of done as a big room get together. Team Surgery did a week-long project focusing on all the good things that happen. I think that's a really important project right now when things are quite tough out there. They focused on everything good and how they could retain some of that for the future. And then we've relaunched our Applause staff recognition scheme and opened a virtual appreciation book to boost our teams as well. So there's details for both of those through the staff intranet. Thank you. So those kind of things, if there are things like that you want to get into this slide set or into our improvement reports, if you want to get your improvements into the newsletter, or you'd like to come and present at one of these improvement forum going forwards, we would absolutely love to hear from you. So please get in touch. Equally, if you've got an improvement idea that you would like to bring to life, get in touch with us through those details, get in touch with Stacey, and we will support you to bring your ideas to life. So we've got a couple of minutes now. So what I wanted to do is just to take this time and open it up really to see if anyone wanted to share anything that they're currently working on improvement wise, or to celebrate anything. Beverly, did you want to come in?
Hi, Maria. No ideas, actually, just congratulations to you and the whole team. It's absolutely fabulous, not just that the ideas are coming forward, but that staff feel empowered to make change. And I know for Atul and I, it's going to be really interesting to take some of your successes back to board. And really, I just wonder, is there anything more we can be doing as the board to support you?
So I think it's absolutely fabulous to see you both here. So Beverly and Atul, for those of you who don't know them, are two of our non-executive directors for the Trust. It's something that is kind of another one of those benefits, isn't it, of kind of virtual forum, that you've never seen this live when we used to do it in a big room format and then being able to join us. So I think you just being here and knowing what we're doing and being able to secure support, I think as things move forwards and people know that you're around, if you come to future ones, it'll be great to kind of, get your opinion on where you think something could be supported through charitable funds, or you think, the board could support. So just being here, I think, is great. I don't know if anybody else has any more thoughts, but that would certainly be my thought. Does anybody else want to come in? Jane, you've got your hands up, but I'm not sure if it's an old one.
No, just the hand is up properly this time, Maria. Thank you. Just to let people know, really, that I'm actually coordinating improvements for DSFS at the moment. We're currently working on a project at the moment that's scoping how we look at the ways in which we deal with tasks and how we deploy people to do tasks within DSFS, whether it's a portering task, an estates job. I'm not going to include IT right now because that is slightly different, but just the way that we as a business actually manage task deployment across the business. So we'll give you a little bit more as we work that up, and obviously we'll take and we'll need customer perspective, views. We may be doing surveys, we may be coming to talk to you. So that's quite an important piece of work that we're looking to do right now.
Thank you, Jane. Andy, did you want to come in?
Yes, hi Maria. Really interesting, all the presentations, found them really informative, so well done everybody. In terms of the Westfield Health as well, Maria, you mentioned that, and I know Beverly's on the call who's been instrumental in it. If anybody does want to access that, I'd really encourage you to do so. It's the first of its kind in a trust being offered. It aims to be really quick and easy to access, so not just through the internet but through your smartphone and things like that. You can book a wellbeing advisor as well that can work with you one-to-one, so that's another unique offering with it, and they will work with you, so staff are in the driving seat in terms of what goals they set themselves in terms of health and lifestyle. And then just really quickly, wrapped around the Westfield Health stuff is a lot of additional mental health and wellbeing support that we've got, not just support but things around mindset and resilience and mindfulness and general wraparound health and wellbeing activities. And then also some work with Ashgate Hospice. So that's going to be linked into supporting any staff that are having issues on a one-to-one basis, but also working with teams in terms of team huddles and things like that. And they've got a lot of experience in terms of supporting their own staff and patients as well. So there's a lot of things going on that I think will align well with everything discussed on here.
Brilliant, thank you. I think you're absolutely right. Right at this moment in time when it's very challenging out there, that's absolutely needed, isn't it? And we need to be doing everything we can to support our staff. So a great improvement. Any more comments, questions? No, shall we close there then? Thank you so much for joining us. We will publish this on the staff intranet, so if you've got colleagues who you think would benefit from having a look at it later, if they weren't able to join us, it will be available. But we would love to hear from you, and we would love to see you again next month. Take care. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.